End of one of the periodic millennial roll calls of Uversa that Michael proceeded to place the government of Nebadon in the hands of Emmanuel and Gabriel, and of course, recalling what had happened in times past following such action, we all prepared to witness Michael's disappearance on his fourth mission of bestowal, and we were not long kept waiting, for he shortly went out upon the Salvington dispatching field, and was lost to our view. On the third day after this bestowal disappearance, we observed in the universe broadcasts to Uversa this significant news item from the Seraphic headquarters of Nebadon, reporting the unannounced arrival of an unknown seraphim, accompanied by a solitary supernaphim and Gabriel of Salvington. This unregistered seraphim qualifies as of the Nebadon order and bears credentials from the Uversa Ancients of Days, certified by Emmanuel of Salvington. This seraphim tests out as belonging to the supreme order of the angels of a local universe, and has already been assigned to the corps of the teaching counselors. Michael was absent from Salvington during this, the Seraphic bestowal, for a period of over 40 standard universe years. During this time he was attached as a Seraphic teaching counselor, what you might denominate a private secretary, to 26 different master teachers, functioning on 22 different worlds. His last or terminal assignment was as counselor and helper attached to a bestowal mission of a Trinity Teacher Son on World 462 in System 84 of Constellation 3 in the universe of Nebadon. Never throughout the 7 years of this assignment was this Trinity Teacher Son wholly persuaded as to the identity of his Seraphic associate. True, all seraphim during that age were regarded with peculiar interest and scrutiny. Full well we all knew that our beloved sovereign was abroad in the universe, disguised as a seraphim, but never could we be certain of his identity. Never was he positively identified until the time of his attachment to the bestowal mission of this Trinity Teacher Son. But always, throughout this era, were the supreme seraphim regarded with special solicitude, lest any of us should find that we had unawares been host to the sovereign of the universe on a mission of creature bestowal. And so it has become forever true concerning angels, that their creator and ruler has been, in all points, tried and tested in the likeness of seraphic personality. As these successive bestowals partook increasingly of the nature of the lower forms of universe life, Gabriel became more and more an associate of these incarnation adventures, functioning as the universe liaison between the bestowed Michael and the acting universe ruler Emmanuel. Now has Michael passed through the bestowal experience of 3 orders of his created universe sons, the Melchizedeks, the Lanonandeks, and the material sons. Next he condescends to personalize in the likeness of angelic life as a supreme seraphim, before turning his attention to the various phases of the ascending careers of his lowest form of will creatures, the evolutionary mortals of time and space. 5. The fifth bestowal. A little over 300 million years ago, as time is reckoned on Urantia, we witnessed another of those transfers of universe authority to Emmanuel, and observed the preparations of Michael for departure. This occasion was different from the previous ones in that he announced that his destination was Uversa, headquarters of the super-universe of Oranton. In due time our sovereign departed, but the broadcasts of the super-universe never made mention of Michael's arrival at the courts of the Ancients of Days. Shortly after his departure from Salvington, there did appear in the Uversa broadcasts this significant statement: "There arrived today an unannounced and unnumbered ascendant pilgrim of mortal origin from the universe of Nebadon, certified by Emmanuel of Salvington and accompanied by Gabriel of Nebadon. This unidentified being presents the status of a true spirit and has been received into our fellowship." If you should visit Uversa today, you would hear the recounting of the days when Eventide sojourned there, this particular and unknown pilgrim of time and space being known on Uversa by that name. And this ascending mortal, at least a superb personality in the exact likeness of the spirit stage of the ascending mortals, lived and functioned on Uversa for a period of 11 years of Orvanton Standard Time. This being received the assignments and performed the duties of a spirit mortal in common with his fellows from the various local universes of Orvanton. In all points he was tested and tried, even as his fellows, and on all occasions he proved worthy of the confidence and trust of his superiors, while he unfailingly commanded the respect and loyal admiration of his fellow spirits. On Salvington we followed the career of this spirit pilgrim with consummate interest, knowing full well by the presence of Gabriel that this unassuming and unnumbered pilgrim spirit was none other than the bestowed ruler of our local universe. This first appearance of Michael incarnated in the role of one stage of mortal evolution was an event which thrilled and enthralled all Nebadon. We had heard of such things, but now we beheld them. He appeared on Uversa as a fully developed and perfectly trained spirit mortal, and, as such, continued his career up to the occasion of the advancement of a group of ascending mortals to Havona, whereupon he held converse with the Ancients of Days, and immediately, in the company of Gabriel, took supper. Not until the completion of this bestowal did it finally dawn upon us that Michael was probably going to incarnate in the likeness of his various orders of universe personalities, from the highest Melchizedeks right on down to the mortals of flesh and blood on the evolutionary worlds of time and space. About this time the Melchizedek colleges began to teach the probability of Michael's some time incarnating as a mortal of the flesh, and there occurred much speculation as to the possible technique of such an inexplicable bestowal. That Michael had in person performed in the role of an ascending mortal lent new and added interest to the whole scheme of creature progression, all the way up through the local universe and the superuniverse. Still, the technique of these successive bestowals remained a mystery. Even Gabriel confesses that he does not comprehend the method whereby this Paradise Son and universe creator could, at will, assume the personality and live the life of one of his own subordinate creatures. 6. The sixth bestowal. Now that all Salvington was familiar with the preliminaries of an impending bestowal, Michael called the sojourners on the headquarters planet together, and, for the first time, unfolded the remainder of the incarnation plan, announcing that he was soon to leave Salvington for the purpose of assuming the career of a Morontia mortal at the courts of the Most High Fathers on the headquarters planet of the fifth constellation. And then we heard for the first time the announcement that his seventh and final bestowal would be made on some evolutionary world in the likeness of mortal flesh. Before leaving Salvington for the sixth bestowal, Michael addressed the assembled inhabitants of the sphere and departed in full view of everyone, accompanied by a lone seraphim and the bright and morning star of Nebadon. While the direction of the universe had again been entrusted to Emmanuel, there was a wider distribution of administrative responsibilities. Michael appeared on the headquarters of Constellation 5 as a full-fledged Morontia mortal of ascending status. I regret that I am forbidden to reveal the details of this unnumbered Morontia mortal's career, for it was one of the most extraordinary and amazing epochs in Michael's bestowal experience, not even excepting his dramatic and tragic sojourn on Urantia. But among the many restrictions imposed upon me in accepting this commission is one which forbids my undertaking to unfold the details of this wonderful career of Michael as the Morontia mortal of Endantum. When Michael returned from this Morontia bestowal, it was apparent to all of us that our Creator had become a fellow creature, that the Universe Sovereign was also the friend and sympathetic helper of even the lowest form of created intelligence in his realms. We had noticed this progressive acquirement of the creature's viewpoint in universe administration before this, for it had been gradually appearing, but it became more apparent after the completion of the Morontia mortal bestowal, even still more so after his return from the career of the carpenter's son on Urantia. We were informed in advance by Gabriel of the time of Michael's release from the Morontia bestowal, and accordingly we arranged a suitable reception on Salvington. Millions upon millions of beings were assembled from the constellation headquarters worlds of Nebadon, and a majority of the sojourners on the worlds adjacent to Salvington were gathered together to welcome him back to the rulership of his universe. In response to our many addresses of welcome and expressions of appreciation of a sovereign so vitally interested in his creatures, he only replied, "I have simply been about my Father's business. I am only doing the pleasure of the Paradise Sons who love and crave to understand their creatures." But from that day down to the hour when Michael embarked upon his Urantia adventure as the Son of Man, All Nebadon continued to discuss the many exploits of their sovereign ruler as he functioned on Undantum as the bestowal incarnation of a Morontia mortal of evolutionary ascension, being in all points tested like his fellows assembled from the material worlds of the entire